Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel for the first video of the year 2021, and that is Ready to Love Season 3 Episode 10, Love and Loss. And I believe this is the episode that a lot of people are starting to get clarity. So let's get into the video.
So we start off the show, we see Jay and Joy sitting around the fire. They're talking about the different things they like about each other, how they've connected and how they've bonded, and just how they overall are feeling about what's happening here at the Ready to Love house.
And then another couple that was also booed up because Jay and Joy, they were cute. But the conversation that I wanted to see was between Denise and Calfani, because Denise was like, you know what, I'm about to step in and go full throttle on Calfani. But Calfani took this time to let her know, to be more truthful, to be more honest with her. That at one point she was his number one, but now he's leaning more towards Adriana. And Denise is so hurt by this in her confessional. She's like, you know what? I was just ready to love him. We've been through some stuff, but we were just going to work through it. But to me, it's like Calfani's been giving you like little hints throughout, the whole season. But I guess if you're not really straight with someone, you're never really going to know. And then also what I found was interesting that, unless my ears were wrong, did Denise say that she was falling or she is in love with Calfani?
Well, Denise did say that, but she also said that a couple episodes ago as well. But one thing Denise said in confessional was, don't make someone a priority who's willing to make you an option. And I'm thinking, Calfani is not necessarily making you an option, like you said, to your point. He's been telling you along the way that, you might want to chill out and check yourself. And he's leaning more towards Adriana, but Denise isn't really trying to hear that because she put all her eggs in one basket for Calfani. But when she came back and told Calfani that, we have to break up.
That was later on in the episode. Before we even get to that, let's go into the scene that everyone was trying to find out what was the news that actually happened, because we were on a panel last week and we started to see that, we didn't see Joy on the couch, so it's something about Joy. We even had our live last week that somebody kind of gave us a little spoiler that it was about Joy. And Mom even was rewinding the tape back, was like, I did not see Joy on the couch. So the news was about Joy, and it was about Joy's sister. And I thought it was so sad, but also it was really, really nice that, they let Jay walk Jay into the room with Joy so he can know what's going on. But she's told us that she said that she talked to her sister like an hour or two before. And then next thing you know, she was just gone. And like, that was so crazy to me. I felt really, really bad for Joy.
I felt bad too. This scene was sad, and my heart goes out to Joy and to her family going through what they're going through. But truth be told, you never know what can happen to you or anyone else from day to day, minute to minute, because anything can happen at any time for no reason at all, no explanation. Then for Jay to go into Joy's room to help comfort her, I thought that was really nice. And you can tell just in his confessional that his heart was really breaking. And then when it came time to have Joy leave to go travel back to her hometown, Chicago, he walked her to the door as well, and Joy was breaking down and, saying she can't do it. And he was trying to encourage her, which was really nice. So then we see this scene with Jay and nephew Tommy. And Jay explained to Tommy what was going on. And Tommy immediately felt, what was happening too, and gave the backstory of what happened when his dad passed away, his feelings of death, or with someone close to that you love, and was saying, bottom line it for him, like, be there for her as much as you can, and to remember your loved ones in the light that they would want you to remember in it.
What I think he was getting at, because Jay was asking for advice, like, what do I do in this moment to help her? Nephew Tommy just says, just be there for her. Sometimes you don't need to say anything. You don't need any words. Just be there for her. And I think that kind of put a little plant on his head for later when we did see him kind of basically self-eliminate after Nephew Tommy did sit down with the whole cast and let them know what was going on. And you could definitely see that they felt a bond with each other. They felt a connection, even though, you know, most people there aren't ready to 100% love. You can definitely see that they built a friendship and a connection because everyone seemed hurt by this.
Yeah, well, you would be hurt too. I mean, in the house, at least feel the empathy for someone that's going through something like that. And what Tommy said was, today is not going to be a dating situation. It's going to be a time for reflection. And they all went around the room and said something really nice and positive about Joy and how she brought light and warmth to everything that she did and everything that she touched. And then when we see the couples later in the afternoon, some of them meet up for self-reflection, we see Jay outside in his suit. And here comes Winter. She said, you know, I was looking for you. And he's like, yeah, I'm sitting here in my suit to reflect, things like that. And the conversation came to the point where Jay decided that he had to go be with Joy. And I was like, now see, that was one of the true connections that I saw on this show. It was not just because something happened within her family, which is, you know, good for him to support her. But they did seem like they were the only couple to me that could have made it to the finale and beyond.
And I thought it was kind of interesting that Denise, you know, she took that moment to reflect and see that, you know, Jay and Joy really does have a connection. But she was like, well, now that he's gone, I could just go to Anthony. I was like, that's all you're trying to get at, is just going to Anthony to potentially find love, even though I don't think they have a connection at all. Okay. But I thought it was nice that Winter did go and meet up with Edwin because, you know, Edwin is the more emotional one, and he was the second person who took this more personal besides Jay. And she let him know, you know, I'm here for you in this moment. So Winter had like a nice scene, but then, you know, she had the not really nice scene trying to go with Anthony. But
I mean, that's a completely different situation. I mean, she's still in the house. Some of them are self-reflecting, and some have self-reflecting moments in other ways with other cast members.
Well, in this moment too, we also see Calvani and Denise come back to talk to each other. And I guess Denise took this moment of reflection, especially what Calvani said earlier, to reflect on her, you know, going with Anthony. She had a sign that Anthony was the one that she's supposed to go to. So now she's going to break up with Calvani and go to Anthony. And Calvani was like,
that face he made was like okay.
Well, you know what? Do what's best for you. That just makes more room for me to go to Adriana. And Denise had the nerve to kind of like be upset by this because Calvani wasn't fighting for her. Calvani hasn't ever fought for you. I mean, he likes you, but he never was like, you know, was really like mad aggressive in the way that she is always to him.
No, he's never been aggressive like that. But in the beginning, when the show first started and they had that initial connection, he did fight for her when she was on the chopping block week 1 when he came to talk to her. So that's fighting for her. So I think she feels that he should continue to do so. But he'd been left that ship weeks ago, but she just hasn't figured it out yet.
Right, it broke up from what? Like I'm with Calvani, like, how'd you guys break up? Like, when were you ever a real couple?
I mean, I've been asking that not with Anthony. I've been asking that with her and Anthony for a while, because then when Denise gets with Anthony, she lets him know that, you know, I am FALLING for you, falling for you. And Anthony's like, oh, okay, like, where did that come from?
So later on in the episode, Jay eventually breaks it down to the group that, you know, he's going to be the one to leave because he's going to be there for Joy. And everyone is like, oh, okay, you know, that's really nice for you. But did you see when the camera panned over to Edwin? I'm like, Edwin looked shook up. Like, something is going on with Edwin. I hope someone was checking up on Edwin because it really made sense when they all came back to sit down with Nephew Tommy, that he was the one to self-eliminate. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense now because he was really feeling Joy, and I guess Jay leaving for Joy made him realize like, oh, they're for real.
Well, I don't think it's just like, oh, they're for real. The way he explained it was the times and the dates that he had with Joy helped him open and recognize the things he needed to work on.
Well, that too.
From within himself. And so he didn't feel like this situation in this house at this moment in time was a place where he was going to find his match, his love. So, he'll find it elsewhere one day, but now wasn't the time. And nephew Tommy was like, well, you know what? You did find love. You found it within yourself, and that's where you need to start with first.
So I'm happy for Edwin that he found that, came to that conclusion, and self-eliminated. And at this point, I'm like, okay, there's some more people who might need to self-eliminate. And even with nephew Tommy said, with some entanglements going on, aka Adriana, that was happening. So nephew Tommy basically like sends them back out and makes them, go revisit this again. I was like, okay, well, what's gonna happen now? So this is the point. We see Calfani and Anthony outside talking. And Calfani lets Anthony know, like, look, Denise said, she loved you. She broke up with me for you. So I'm passing her over to you. And Anthony was like, excuse me?
Right, excuse me, what?
I didn't hear any of that from Denise ever. So I'm like, this is interesting.
I mean, is it really interesting? Because I have said...
Well, you were the one that said it.
On our show and on lives and in comments, I didn't see where Anthony and Denise connected. Now, maybe Denise thought she connected, but I just never saw that where they did. And I think I was proven correct on this one, because when Calfani said that, I'm passing the ball to you for Denise, and Anthony was like, okay, I'll have to see about this when I go talk to her later. I was like,
Well, they might not have a love connection, but they had at least a friendly vibe connection.
Well, they had a connection as far as intellectually talking, because she did mention, I believe, to Winter that, or maybe to Anthony, that, she has a deeper sense of connection with him. Like they could talk about different things, stuff like that, versus Calfani. She can't. But, I mean, she was the one, Denise, who opened up to Calfani about really a lot of her life experiences very early. So I'm not sure why she would say that.
That's true. And then this also brings up the next two people in Anthony's life, apparently. Denise and Winter. And Denise lets Winter know, I let Anthony know that I'm really feeling him and that I'm in love with him. And Winter's like, but weren't you just feeling Calfani? So even Winter picked up on this. Like, maybe this was something like to be calculative and not really that she has feelings for Anthony.
That kind of is giving me a Naya vibe. When she broke up with Chris to go with Edwin. Like, weren't you just all up in that Kool-Aid and now you're over here because what reason now? Just saying.
Well, Winter took this time to go to Anthony, and she lets Anthony know, like, she's feeling him, boo. And Anthony's like, I'm so happy you said that to me, because I'm feeling you too. And I'm just like, I don't feel the connection between you two, but you know what? If you guys say you have a connection, I'm gonna let you live in the connection world. And then they had a little pet kiss. So I was like, okay, that's cute. So when Anthony had like a little date or sit down, whatever it was, with Denise, I thought this was gonna be the moment that Anthony was gonna bring up to Denise what him and Calfani talked about, but I don't even know what kind of conversation they had.
I don't know. I still think it was Denise trying to let Anthony know he's her number one. And I'm just
from
like,
day one.
Yeah, and I'm like,
He was like, I thought you were feeling Calfani. Like, what's going on with that? And she was like, you know what? I never had an adult love, and we never have adult moments. So, I'm just really rocking with you. And Anthony's like, okay.
All right.
So I really thought this was going to be the moment that he was going to say something, but apparently he saved it for later. When they met up with nephew Tommy again, just for them to know, this is the time you really have to pick someone. No more entanglements, no nothing, because they're going to meet your family. Adriana, cough, cough, talking to you mostly because Winter thought, maybe it could be like us. You never know who's going to go for who. But I'm like, no, Anthony's going to pick you, Winter.
Yeah.
So Anthony had this conversation with Denise at the bar. He wanted to be straight up with her. Like, you know what? I'm basically feeling Winter.
Mm-hmm.
And Denise kind of like, she wasn't hurt, but she was like, well, if they want to choose some randoms, they can have the randoms to get to the final. But I'm like, but you were the one saying you in love with Calfani. Now you in love with Anthony, and mom don't know how you got to that conclusion. It's like,
and when it's somebody that is not you, why is it always got to be a random? You're in the same house. It's not random. They just wasn't choosing you.
Well, she said she knows what she wants, and she's not going to deter her away from doing something different because she knows her self-worth, which is good. Mm-hmm. I just wish she didn't say he was loving other people. And then I think Anthony only did this to, like, excuse himself out the situation. He was like, yeah, Calfani feels the same way, too. She's like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, now that was a little shade, but I was here for it.
I mean, it was a little shady, but it's like, Calfani already had this conversation with Denise.
Yeah.
Well, Calfani had the conversation with Denise, and Denise had the conversation with Calfani. So I'm like, okay, so why is Calfani coming back over here? And he was like, what conversation are you talking about?
He was like, pretty much, I tried to tell you, but I think Anthony mentioned that to Denise too, just in case she went back to Calfani and tried to flip the script. So it wouldn't work. Just let you know that I know what's really going on. Like, those red flags aren't it. But we also see Rashid and Adriana play a game of truth and dare. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that came out was a truth. And the question was, from Rashid Adriana was, so, am I your number one choice? And we get the,
Well, what she said was, at first it was about connections, but now it's more so long term. But she wants her cake and eat it too.
Right.
So if you want your cake and eat it too, are you really ready for love?
Well, that's true. But what Rashid told her was, I put all my eggs in one basket with you. And if I'm not the man that you're going to go forward with, I'm cool with that. Just know that I'm here for you. And I think she appreciated him saying that, but she's still so unsure, and she's actually straddled the line for a couple weeks now. And I just think she needs to make that decision because, again, when it comes to family week next week, and this time we see Adriana's dad in the mix, and she said her dad is kind of hard to please, but most dads are with their young ladies, their women, their girls, and we'll have to see how that goes.
I mean, she is the only one with two options left, and Rashid did kind of look like her dad just a little bit. I think Adriana's really going to pick Calfani. I don't think she's going to pick Rashid. I think Rashid is always going to be, well, not always, for right now, it's going to be her number 2 backup plan as long as he is allowing that to happen because she knows that it can happen.
Yeah, because they had that connection before.
Mm-hmm. So I'm really interested to see what's happening next week and the 2-part reunion. So let us know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments down below. What did you think about this episode?
I think the episode was, like it said, the title, Love and Loss. It was bittersweet for Jay to have love and loss, shared that with Joy. So I appreciated that, seeing how they came together and was really, how he was unified with her. But as far as Denise leaving, you hate to say you're happy someone's going home, but I think it was time for her to go home. And then as far as Edwin going home, himself eliminate, he knew that his match wasn't there. But for the remaining couples, I really need Adriana to make a choice. And you said Calfani. I can see her with Calfani, but I think the best choice for her is Rashid. Also, we want to invite all our subscribers and all our new subscribers to help us get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So with that being said, we are going to ask you all to hit that subscribe button.
If you haven't already.
If you haven't already, we are giving away one $50, either a Visa gift card or to a big box store of your choice. Please send your entry to our Gmail at millennialmom92@gmail.com, and we will pick the winner live as soon as we hit that 1,000 subscriber mark.
Well, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you enter into that giveaway and become a subscriber to help us get to 1,000.
And as always, live simply, be grateful.